Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Rob. I'm really excited this week because we're making one of my all-time favorite recipes, something I've made over and over again, so much so that my coworkers have made fun of me for how often I eat it, and even given it its own nickname. It is my minestrone soup, otherwise known as minestrone, and I'm a huge fan. Why am I making this week? Because last week, my girlfriend Heather made an absolutely stunning dehydrated minestrone soup for our camping trip, and it just made me crave minestrone. So I'm making it again this week because I want to eat it. It makes a huge batch. You get 8 1.5 cup servings out of it. It's great for meal prep. It'll last you a few days, and you're gonna love it. So let's get into the ingredients that we're gonna need today. Starting with some olive oil. Next, a little bit of baby shell pasta. Then let's go through the beans that we're gonna need. We're gonna need 2 cans of white kidney beans. It's 19-ounce cans. 2 19-ounce cans of red kidney beans. A 14-ounce can of diced tomato. We're gonna need 4 cups of minced or chopped baby spinach. We're gonna need some fresh parsley. We're going to need a little bit of celery if you've got it. Sometimes I do skip the celery if it's not in my fridge because you only use a 1/4 cup, so it won't go noticed if it's missing. Then a 1/2 cup zucchini. We're gonna use some grated carrots. We're gonna use some onion, some garlic. We're gonna use some frozen green beans, veggie broth. So I've got 1 container of veggie broth because we're gonna make 4 cups veggie broth. And then for our spices, we're going to need some dried oregano, dried basil, dried thyme, and salt and pepper. Wow, that's a lot of ingredients. Let's get started. First up, we're gonna prep our veggies that are going to saute to start the soup off. That means mincing the onion, cutting up the zucchini, celery, and garlic. Let's start with the onion. Next up's the zucchini. Now the recipe says a 1/2 cup, but I've noticed that a 1/2 cup leaves you with like a 1/3 or a 1/4 of a zucchini left, and that's just ridiculous and wasteful. So I'm just gonna use the whole thing. If there's a little bit of extra veggies in my soup, there's no problem with that. A little bit extra veggies is not a bad thing. One stalk of celery. This white bit. I don't like it at all.
Why?
I don't know. Just like doesn't look like a part of the celery. I like the green part. Mince it up real good. I like cutting celery because it's the one vegetable I feel like I can cut really fast. Done. Next, we're gonna mince our 4 cloves of garlic that are gonna go in here. Smash, peel, and mince. Last thing we're gonna add to our initial saute mix is 1/2 cup frozen beans, but you know what? I like more beans in my jam. So I'm gonna put about 3/4 cup. Yeah, maybe 2/3 a cup, whatever, into my mix. Next, we're gonna measure out 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Heat that in our pot. Once the oil is heated up, add veggies and cook for about 5 minutes. Are you ready to make it sizzle in here? Woo-wee! We'll get those sizzling and do a few other things. All right, we got a lot going on right now as our veggies continue to sizzle. I'm prepping everything else that's going in the soup. So right here I'm working on my carrot. I'm using this little tool for the first time that Heather showed me. It's turning my carrot into matchsticks. I don't know if you can get a closer shot and just see how those are coming out. So it looks like a vegetable peeler, but it's got little teeth and it's gonna turn my carrots into matchsticks. I have a hard time julienning carrots, so I usually just shred them. But this is cool. I think this is gonna allow me to have little matchsticks in my soup today. 2 tablespoons parsley. Seen this before. Parsley technique. Fold the stalks over and mince away. Mince, 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 mince. That's probably more than 2 tablespoons. We're going to overkill on all the ingredients today. Woo! Okay, we're going to add a lot of the rest of our ingredients at this point and bring our soup to a boil to get it ready to simmer. So, I've got my veggie broth here. Lots of different ways to come up with 4 cups of veggie broth. I've created my 4 cups, I'm going to add that. Then I've drained and rinsed all 4 cans of my beans, 2 cans red kidney, 2 cans white kidney. I'm gonna add that. Then I'm gonna add a can of diced tomatoes with the juices. That's gonna go in too. On my cutting board here, I've got my 2 tablespoons roughly parsley and my 1/2 cup of julienned or matchstick carrots. Those are gonna go in at this point too. Yeah, look at all that color. It's a pile of color. And then I measured out here, if you look at the ingredients list, I've got my spice mix. If I can remember it off the top of my head here, 1½ teaspoons oregano, 1/2 teaspoon basil, 1½ teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon thyme, 1/2 teaspoon basil. Oh, but you know what? I'm putting it in and I'm glad that I listed it again there because I forgot the 1/2 teaspoon black pepper. I will add that in a second. The last thing that we need to add, I've got heated up here, that should be good enough, is just 3 cups of hot water. It doesn't have to be boiling water. So I'm measuring that out now. I want to make sure that our soup has enough broth. So in goes my 3 cups of hot water. Why don't you come over here, watch me stir it. Stir it up. See everything? So right now, yeah, it looks a little thin. What we're gonna do, crank that heat up to high, bring to a boil, and then reduce the heat. Make sure we got a nice simmer going. Simmer for 20 minutes, and we'll add a few more ingredients. Okay, got my soup simmering over here, and it's gonna simmer for about 20 minutes, and then I've got to add a couple things. One being 4 cups chopped spinach. Now, I like the spinach chunks to be pretty small, and it takes a while to chop up 4 cups of spinach, so I get started on that pretty early. Lots of greens when you got 4 cups of chopped spinach. in your minestrone soup, and that's a good thing. While I work on this, why don't you go have a snack? Somehow, I only ended up with 2 cups of finely minced spinach. That's when I bought this. It really looked like 4 cups worth, and it might have made more. Except Heather ate some of it. Oh well, it'll have to do. Dancing in the kitchen. Huh. I guess they've always said I'm a little loony. Alright, so the soup has been simmering for about 20 minutes. That means it's time to add our final 3 ingredients for the remaining 20. I've got my lackluster, not quite even close to 4 cups of spinach. But it'll do. You know what, it's, like I said, it was probably 4 cups before it was diced, so we'll throw that in. Then we've got roughly ½ cup of our baby shell pasta. I'm gonna add that in. Make sure it all gets in there. And then the secret ingredient that is not, ooh, there goes our timer. Secret ingredient that is not listed in the ingredients, but you must include, is the red wine, specifically Shiraz. Get a ½ cup of that. That's gonna taste delicious. Stir that up. Keep it simmering for another 20 minutes. Alright, my timer's gone off. Soup smells delicious. It's time to serve it up. Look at all those beans. One down here. All right, minestrone strone. 2 minestrones coming up. Well, thanks for coming by for another episode of Cooking with Rob. Today we cooked possibly my favorite soup. Don't worry, I've got lots of soups in store. Maybe next time we'll do another one. Take care.